Welcome to this demonstration video on how to proofread or edit your transcript after you're done transcribing. Okay, so I have transcribed a full transcript corresponding to a very short audio, and now I'm going to show you how you apply this technique to all your transcripts. So every transcript that you do, you transcribe it fully and then you come back to check it. Because essentially when you submit a transcript, it has to be error-free to the best of your abilities. Okay, so I'm going to play the audio and recheck the transcript. You always have to play the audio. You can't check a transcript just by looking at it. Okay. So here we go. Okay, my audio is set at a lower speed, so the normal speed would be 1 times. I've decreased it to 0.69 times so that I can follow what is being said properly. Okay.
In the board. So here's one after.
Okay, so it just starts in the middle of him saying in the port. So I'll just go back briefly.
In the board. So here's
okay, and then it starts with saying, so his responsibility. So see, I already missed out a word. Good thing I went back to check my transcript before I submitted it, if I was going to submit it.
In the board. So here's one after I signed the form. He's got the receipt for the batteries to go and claim his money.
Okay, so this situation here, we've got a whole sentence inserted into another sentence. That is why I am using the dashes and not the double dash. This is a double dash. It's the same as this double dash here at the beginning. It's just that if you put it after a word and you press the space bar, my laptop will automatically elongate it. Okay, so this is a normal double dash here, right? Just like the one I made here. Okay, these are single dashes. Okay, this one appears to be longer because again, when you press the space bar, it elongates the dash. For example, I'll show you. I'll put an I here and then I'll press the space bar after the I. See, the dash has been elongated and it looks like this one. Okay, so it's exactly the same dash. Right. So because a sentence is being inserted into another whole sentence, you have to offset it with a dash. You can't just leave it with commas or whatever else. So the sentence on the outside reads, so his responsibility was, after I had signed the form, to go and claim his money. Right. And then inside there he inserted, he's got the receipt for the batteries. Okay, that's always how you treat a full sentence that has been inserted into another full sentence. So both sentences have to be full sentences. If either one is not a full sentence, you may not use the dashes. You'd have to use a comma. Okay, you'd have to use commas. Okay, we go on.
He's got the receipt for the batteries to go and claim his money.
Mr. Commissioner, the last thing I'm still putting it to you.
Okay, so at first he said, Mr. Commissioner, okay, he actually wanted to rest his case and then he remembered that there's still a question he wanted to ask the witness. So he leaves off this reference to Mr. Commissioner, well, calling the commissioner's attention. He leaves that and then he continues with the question towards the witness now. Okay, so you leave it there. Okay, it's a false start, but it's a meaningful false start, not one that you can delete because he was calling the commissioner at first. Okay, so now that he's no longer talking to the commissioner, he's now talking to the witness. Okay, and you will see I double click on this block here so that this pop-up can come up and then I get to go back in time. So I've gone back now 3 seconds so that I can hear what's happening.
The last thing I'm still putting it to you is that or let me ask you.
Okay, so he leaves once again his thought and he now changes the form of his question.
Or let me ask you. Why did you ask the applicant what is fatigue?
I'm going to refer to what I said yesterday. I told you I did not ask him what is fatigue. English might not be my.
So he stutters and says I. We omit stutters from our transcripts. We never include them.
English might not be my first language, but I did not ask him what is fatigue. I asked him, what do you mean by fatigue? Not what is fatigue.
Okay, so now you will see the quotation marks that we primarily use are double quotes, okay? Like that. So I've noticed that some people like to put single quotes like this in a transcript. No, we don't. There are only certain instances where you would have to use single quotes. Most of our work actually involves double quotes. You use single quotes if you are inserting a quote within the quote. Okay, so that's the only time where single quotes are applicable for our purposes. And here he is quoting what is this is hypothetical speech, okay, that he hypothetically asked what is fatigue, and this is now the actual speech that he said that he is quoting. So whether you are reading a document, whether you are quoting hypothetical speech or actual speech that was said, it's quotation marks all the time. All right.
By fatigue, not what is fatigue.
Okay, you will notice that this thing is one sentence. Sorry, there's work that's being done, so there's this noise in the background. Excuse that. Okay, so here we are. This sentence here is one sentence, okay? I did not put a full stop here or pretend that there's a full stop there and then start with a capital letter here. No, it's one sentence, okay? So this not is a small letter and then you offset it with a comma because whenever you open a quotation, there has to be a comma after the word before the quotation. Okay, so the word before the quotation will always be followed by a comma, and then you open your quotation and you close your quotation. Never forget your closing quotation mark. It always has to be there. They come in pairs, they work in pairs.
Not what is fatigue.
And what was his response?
He said to me he was feeling
Okay, he said, and what was his response? You omit the what did and you only keep the what was his response because he changed his thought. He changed what he wanted to say and he changed it three words in. So you can delete the two words that were in error and carry on with the sentence as though he never said those other two words.
Was his response?
He said to me he was feeling tired.
And what made you to raise your voice to be angry after he explained that to you?
I am going to repeat. I was not angry with him. I had no issue with him for me to be angry at him.
But he will testify here. How was your approach?
Okay. You can hear the English that this rep is using is not normal English. His sentence construction, his words are jumbled up. You just leave it like that. You leave it as he says it, okay? Because he would have alternatively, if he was using proper English, for lack of a better word, he would have said, but he will testify here how your approach was, okay? But this is how he said it, so that is how we leave it. We don't edit something unless it would cause absolute confusion to the reader, because the reader does not have the benefit of listening to the audio, okay?
He will testify here. How was your approach? Mr. Commissioner, I'm finished with this particular witness.
Thank you.
But I think his credibility has to be taken into cognizance, but it's for you to determine on weighing his the probabilities of this evidence.
Fine. For me, I will tend to each witness. Okay.
Okay, so I have no idea what the commissioner is mumbling. He mumbles a lot when he talks. So the parts that I could make out, I put on paper. The parts that I could not make out, I put the inaudible tag. You will notice whether the inaudible tag is at the beginning of a sentence or in the middle of a sentence, every letter therein is a small letter. We don't capitalize anything within our tags, except if it is a guest tag of a proper noun. Unless it's that, we don't capitalize anything within our tags. Okay.
Tend to each witness. Okay.
Full stop. See? I left out a full stop there. So it is very, very beneficial for you. It doesn't matter how many years you've been transcribing. You cannot just finish a transcript and move on. You need to go back and listen to it so that you make sure that these subtle little errors that sometimes occur unbeknownst to you are fixed before you submit.
This. Okay. In the exam, Mr. Putlesi.
Yes.
Mr. Dlamini, sorry. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Listen to that. The respondent rep is stuttering the words thank you over and over. We capture just one because this is not an emphasis. Okay, if you listen carefully, he's not trying to emphasize the word thank you. He's actually stumbling over it to get to his next thought. So it's a stutter. We take just one of those words and we leave the rest.
Mr. Dlamini, sorry. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Norman.
I thought I was gonna maybe get the lady here to bring our water.
Okay, so the word maybe has no place in this sentence, right? But because he said it, and it's not like and you know, those are the only two words that we are allowed to omit in a transcript by convention, okay? Like and you know are crutch words, and we are allowed to omit out of a transcript. But maybe is not that, okay? And it has been inserted unnecessarily into the sentence. Therefore, you have to deploy commas to offset it, okay? Because it doesn't really belong to the sentence, but it was said and we have to keep it in. So you just offset it with commas, right? Any word that is inserted into a sentence unnecessarily doesn't really add any critical meaning to the sentence, because the sentence would read fine if he said, I thought I was going to get the lady here to bring blah blah blah, okay? But he inserted the word maybe, so we offset it with a comma every single time. Any word that we cannot omit, okay, and the only two words we can omit are like and you know, okay? Those are the only instances where we can omit. But with maybe and I mean and words like that, Okay, because some people when they talk, they'll be saying, I was going to, think about doing this, and then that has to be offset with commas, just like this maybe here.
Get the lady here to bring our water first, maybe.
Okay, he says a second maybe at the end. That maybe can be omitted. Why? Because this maybe is already here. If this maybe was not here, so that one is an unnecessary repetition here at the end. We can leave it out and keep only one of them. Okay, so the rules of transcription are quite intricate. Okay, there are a lot of do's and don'ts. Okay, you just have to learn them and keep up with them.
Here to bring our water first, maybe.
Okay.
If I can be giving that.
Okay, this okay is not one of the okays that you omit, because this is not said as just a I'm still listening to you kind of okay when somebody is having a long monologue. No, this is an okay that is acknowledging what this rep said. Okay, so it is an important okay to keep in the transcript. So you need to learn which of these feedbacks are important to keep in and which are important or which can be omitted. Okay, this is not one of the ones that can be omitted. This has to be kept in. It's a valid response to what has been said, or an acknowledgement rather to what has been said.
Okay.
If I can be giving that indulgence.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, so the commissioner tends to speak funny, so you're not going to write sorry say like the way he pronounced it. Okay, so you're gonna write it in the proper way that anybody who doesn't have a speech impediment would say it. Okay, so he's actually saying sorry, you're saying, all right.
Giving that indulgence.
Sorry, sir.
I thought I was gonna ask the lady to bring our water first.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's not for much.
Okay, so there was something else that this rep was saying after the word first, but he was interrupted by this commissioner, and whatever he was saying became meaningless because he couldn't even finish the phrase or the word. Okay, so we omit that. We don't put unfinished words in our transcript. Whatever half word is spoken, we don't like go ahead of them and guess it should have been this so that we put that in. No, we omit it as though it was never said. Okay.
Our water first.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's not for much.
Yeah. Can you?
Okay. And then that audio ended with yeah, can you? Okay. So I'll just go back so you can hear where it ended before the new audio started to play.
Our water first.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's not for much.
Yeah. Can you?
Okay, and when it cuts off right there, you put a double dash to show that it's not finished. Okay, the sentence was not finished, it just got cut off by the audio. And there you have it. You've checked your transcript. Okay, all you're gonna do now is convert now your speaker IDs, because now you've confirmed that every word is there and every speaker is there. It's only then when you can then highlight your codes and convert your speaker IDs. I will do a separate video on speaker IDs, okay? Because some people are still struggling with setting speaker IDs the way the induction booklet says to, and that will actually save you time. So I will do a separate video specifically on that. I will end this one at this point then.